Captain Jake Morrison stood at the observation deck of the space station Luna 7, watching the distant stars twinkle against the black canvas of space. 3 years had passed since humanity made first contact with the Zilani Empire, and the relationship remained tense. The aliens were advanced, mysterious, and kept their distance from human colonies. The communication alert buzzed through the station. "Captain Morrison, we have an incoming Zilani vessel requesting emergency docking," reported Lieutenant Amy Davis from the control room. Jake frowned. Zilani ships never requested emergency assistance. They were proud beings who handled their own problems. "Grant them docking bay 3 and prepare medical teams," he ordered. 20 minutes later, Jake watched as the sleek silver craft landed with precision. The ship was smaller than usual Zilani vessels, possibly a scout or personal transport. Steam hissed as the airlock opened and a single figure emerged. The Zilani wore the traditional environmental suit that all their species used when dealing with humans. The suit was elegant, form-fitting, and completely concealed their appearance. Jake had never seen a Zilani without their protective gear. Few humans had. "I am Captain Morrison," Jake said as he approached. "What assistance do you require?" The alien stood perfectly still for a moment. When she spoke, her voice came through the suit's translator with a melodic quality that surprised him. "I am Kira of the science vessel Starwind. My ship has suffered critical engine failure. I need sanctuary while repairs are made." Jake noticed something unusual. The alien's voice carried emotion, something he had never heard from Zilani before. They were known for their cold, logical communication style. "Of course. We can provide whatever support you need," Jake replied. "Our engineering team can assist with repairs." "No," Kira said quickly. "I must handle the repairs myself. Zilani technology is sensitive to human contact." Over the next few days, Kira worked alone on her ship while staying in guest quarters on the station. Jake found himself curious about their mysterious visitor. She was different from other Zilani he had encountered. She seemed less formal, more human somehow. Late one evening, Jake was walking through the station's garden area when he heard a sound he had never expected to hear from a Zilani: crying. He followed the sound and found Kira sitting alone on a bench, her shoulders shaking. "Are you all right?" Jake asked gently. Kira looked up sharply. Even through her mask, he could sense her surprise at being discovered. "I am functional," she said, but her voice betrayed her words. Jake sat down beside her, maintaining a respectful distance. Sometimes being functional isn't the same as being okay. For a long moment, they sat in silence. The artificial stars in the garden ceiling cast a gentle light around them. "My people would not understand," Kira said finally. "We are taught that emotions are weakness. But I find myself struggling with that belief." "Emotions aren't weakness," Jake said. "They're what make us who we are. They help us connect, care, and grow." Kira turned to look at him. "Is this why humans are so different from us? You embrace these feelings instead of suppressing them?" "We try to. We don't always succeed, but we try." "I have been studying human culture for many cycles," Kira admitted. "Your music, your art, your stories. They speak of things my people have forgotten. Love, hope, the beauty in imperfection." Jake felt a connection forming between them, something he had never experienced with an alien before. "What happened to make you question your people's ways?" Kira was quiet for a long time. "I discovered something about our history, something the Empire has hidden from us. We were not always like this. Long ago, my people were much like humans, emotional, creative, passionate. But our leaders decided emotions were inefficient. They changed us, suppressed what made us truly alive." The revelation shocked Jake. "Changed you how?" "Genetic modification, neural conditioning, chemical treatments. Over generations, we became what you see now, cold, logical, empty." Kira's voice broke. "But some of us still carry the old genes. We feel things we're not supposed to feel. We're considered defective." Jake's heart went out to her. "You're not defective. You're more alive than any Zilani I've ever met." "My superiors will come for me soon," Kira said. "They know I've been away too long. When they find me, they will either recondition me or eliminate me." "Then don't go back," Jake said impulsively. "Stay here. We can protect you. You don't understand. I'm not just running from reconditioning. I'm carrying information that could free my people from this emotional prison." "But if I'm caught, what kind of information?" Kira stood and began pacing. "Research data from our ancient archives, proof of what we once were. and the process to reverse the conditioning. If this reaches the right people among my kind, it could spark a revolution. Jake stood as well. Then we need to make sure it reaches them. Tell me what you need. I need to transmit this data to rebel cells within the Empire, but it requires a powerful communication array, and the signal would be traced back to its source. Your station would be in danger. Let us worry about that. If there's a chance to help your people regain their emotions, their humanity, we have to try. Kira stopped pacing and stared at him through her mask. You would risk your station, your people, for aliens you barely know? I would risk it for you, Jake said simply. And for what's right. Something changed in Kira's posture. She reached up to her mask, her hands trembling. There is something I must show you first. Something that will make you understand the true cost of what we're considering. Kira, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Her hands found the release mechanisms. You need to see what we really are. The mask disengaged with a soft hiss. Kira slowly pulled it away from her face. Jake's breath caught in his throat. The face revealed was hauntingly beautiful but also heartbreakingly tragic. Kira's skin was pale blue with silver markings that seemed to shift and dance in the light. Her eyes were large and luminous, a deep purple that seemed to hold galaxies within them. But it was the expression on her face that struck him most, pure, raw emotion. Fear, hope, sorrow, and something else he couldn't quite name. This is what we were, she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. This is what they took from us. Jake reached out instinctively, stopping just short of touching her face. You're beautiful. We once were a people of art and music and love. We painted the stars with our dreams and sang songs that could make the moons weep. Now we build machines and conquer worlds and feel nothing. Not nothing, Jake said gently.
You feel...
You're here, showing me your true face, crying for your people. That's everything. Kira looked into his eyes and Jake saw something spark between them. A connection that transcended species. A recognition of kindred spirits. If we do this, she said, there's no going back. The Empire will hunt us both. You'll become enemies of the most powerful force in the galaxy. Some things are worth fighting for, Jake replied. Freedom is one of them. Love is another. The word hung in the air between them. Love. Neither had said it directly, but both felt its presence. The transmission will take 3 hours to complete, Kira said. Once it begins, we'll have incoming Zilani warships within 6 hours. Jake nodded. I'll alert my crew and prepare our defenses. But Kira, after this, what happens to us? She stepped closer to him, her hand finally reaching up to touch his face. I don't know, but for the first time in my life, I have hope for the future. They spent the next hour preparing. Jake explained the situation to his senior staff, and to his amazement, they all volunteered to help. Lieutenant Davis summed up the crew's feelings perfectly. If we can help an entire species remember how to feel, how to love, then it's worth the risk. As the transmission began, Jake and Kira stood together on the observation deck watching the stars. Her hand was in his, warm and real and perfect. Do you think it will work? She asked. I think, Jake said, squeezing her hand, that love always finds a way. The communication array hummed with power as petabytes of data streamed across the galaxy toward rebel cells within the Zilani Empire. Somewhere out there, other Zilani like Kira would receive proof of their forgotten heritage and the key to reclaiming their emotional souls. 3 hours later, as the transmission completed, long-range sensors detected incoming ships. Jake's crew had already begun evacuation procedures for non-essential personnel, but many chose to stay and fight. They're here, Lieutenant Davis reported. Jake looked at Kira, whose face was no longer hidden behind a mask. Any regrets? She smiled, and the expression transformed her already beautiful features into something radiant, only that it took me so long to remove my mask. As the first Zilani warships appeared on the horizon, Jake realized that everything had changed the moment Kira revealed her true face. Not just for them, but potentially for the entire galaxy. Love, hope, and the courage to feel deeply were about to spread across the stars like wildfire. The battle ahead would be difficult, but they had already won the most important victory. They had chosen love over fear, emotion over emptiness, and connection over isolation. In the distance, more human ships were approaching to help defend Luna 7. Word of their cause had spread quickly, and people across human space were rallying to support them. The revolution had already begun. Jake squeezed.